Why am I just now realizing that I should be wearing my bunny necklace with my axe hatchet necklace? Like, if you're confused, the girls that know, and the girls that don't. Hey, what's up? Hello, it's Katie Colson here. Welcome back to my channel, and we're gonna talk about all the lot of the books that I read in February. Somebody needs to stop me. Like, I can't stop doing live sprints on my Patreon. I can't stop reading. I'm literally consuming so many books that I'm not even like creating content. I'm just reading all the freaking time. I take books to work. I listen to books in my car. I listen to books, like literally there are times where I'm listening to the book like on the speaker while I'm taking a shower. I just like, what am I doing? Like I stay up until 3 a.m. finishing books. Like there's not enough time for all the stories in the world. Do you know what I'm saying? But anyway, we're going to talk about all of those books, and you would think that February being the shortest month would mean that I read less books than I did in January. No, but I am going to talk about 2 books that I DNF'd and did not consider part of my Goodreads reading goal, even though I did get 50% of the way through them. I'm not going to consider them because, listen, there are so many books that I actually did finish that I don't feel like I need to add on those other books. But anyway, let's get right into it. Luckily, we have a time saver, and that is that 8 of the books I read this month are all in one series, and that is the Veronica Speedwell series by Deanna Raybourn. This is the first book. It's A Curious Beginning. I only own 2 of the books as of right now physically, and that is the first book and the 4th book, this one being A Dangerous Collaboration. Now, these are my favorites in the series so far, but I binged this series like, oh my god, I could not stop. I honestly, like, the second I get all these physically, I'm going to reread them like that second to annotate them. I am freaking obsessed. The audiobooks are so good, but I have heard that the physical books are just as good, but the narrator for the audiobooks is just fucking stunning. This is a cozy mystery, but it's like kind of got some comedy to it because the main character's banter is like freaking top tier elite. It's so good. But this is basically like a Victorian era murder mystery series where our main character is Veronica Speedwell, which is the name of a flower, and I think that is so funny. And then another guy, or a guy named Stoker, who is so hot. He's so amazing. And they are both historians, where Stoker is kind of like a taxidermist, and then Veronica is a butterfly historian. So she goes and captures really rare butterflies, and they meet unexpectedly in this very weird situation. And it kind of tumbles into them solving crimes and people asking them to solve crimes because they don't want to get the law involved and the police involved. So they're going to outside sources, which is Veronica and Stoker. And if you want a slow burn romance, you're going to get it with this. It is so slow burn. It's like those moments, like those Pride and Prejudice hand touch moments. And it is so good. And if you want like a murder mystery, like kind of like a cop show drama where the characters actually get together, this is it. Because trust me, I've read 7 of the books and I think she is contracted for 9 of them, and I'm freaking obsessed. And trust me, it gets there. It gets there. They get there. If you're reading and you're like, this is so slow burn, it's worth it. It's worth it. I am like literally obsessed with these books. And then I transitioned right into The Last Thing He Told Me by Who Cares? Why did this win the Goodreads Choice Award for Best Mystery? Who voted for it? Like, I want to know. I want to know your names. Who voted for that book? It's so boring and it's bad. Like, it's bad. It is not meant to be read by anyone under the age of 40 at the least. Like, it just isn't. And the main character is so ridiculous. Like, the way that she figures this mystery out or goes about figuring it out is absurd, and nobody would ever do that. But then she also looks over the most obvious things. Like, it's bad. Okay. We'll be brief. It's about this woman who marries this guy who has a daughter, and the daughter doesn't want anything to do with her. And then the husband like goes missing after the scandal happens at his job, and he leaves a note that says protect her, and she finds all this money and she's trying to figure out this mystery behind him, and the ending is terrible. Don't read it. I think I gave it 2 stars to be nice because it wasn't offensive, but like really it's a 1 star. And then I physically read The Traveling Cat Chronicles by Hiro Arakawa, and apparently, according to Erin from Booked and Busy, that is where I made my mistake because the audiobook is so much better. I do believe her. I listened to a little bit of the audio and I did like the narrator's voice, and I do believe that listening to this would have been a better idea. This book is told from the cat's point of view, and I think like hearing the cat's point of view would have been really funny and make the touching moments like that much more in depth. But this is supposed to be about a guy who kind of rescues this stray cat and their life together, and then the journey of him going to a bunch of different people trying to find a good home for his cat because he can no longer take care of the cat. And you find out why. You find like he's going to all these people trying to see who's going to be the best fit. And the ending is sad. The ending is sad, but I unfortunately gave this 2.5 stars because I found it incredibly boring. I found it incredibly boring. I don't know. I did not jive with this book. Like, it's just repetitive. Like, it's so short and it's so freaking repetitive. It's just him doing the same thing over and over again and getting the exact same result. And then all the people that he's trying to give this cat to suck. They all suck. Like, why would he trust his cat with any of these hoes? I wouldn't trust a bag of chips with these hoes. Like, it wasn't for me. And while I read that book for a sprint till I drop thing I was doing, I also ended up reading Happiness Volume 1 by Shuzo Ashimi. And I really like the art in this book. And there was a lot of things that I really liked about this manga, but one big detractor. So I don't think I'm going to continue with this series. I want to, but there's some creepy shit in this book that I don't think is okay, especially with how young the main character is. It's supposed to be about this boy who's a loner, who isn't really like seen very well in the school, who's picked on. And he comes across this mysterious woman who kind of attacks him in an alley and bites him. And then, of course, he becomes a vampire. Duh. But when he's attracted to blood, the only time he is overcome by the smell of blood is when he smells it between a girl's legs. And it's every single girl he sees. Every single girl he sees. How is every single girl in this school on their period at the same time? That's just not possible. And then there's like, it's just like some really creepy sexual things that are talked about with him. And like, he bumps into a girl and then immediately basically starts assaulting her and then pries himself away. And then she's like into it. I was like, what the fuck is happening? All that to say, like, I don't know, like, I did like the eeriness, I did like the art style. I wish that I could like this book, but like that sexual kind of stuff, like, really skeeved me out. But never fear, I followed that up with a 5-star manga, and that is Spy Family Volume 1 through 4 by Tetsuya Endo. Now, these are like a comedy action thriller manga. It is so funny and so heartwarming. Like, I was not expecting this to be heartwarming. I was sent this in the mail completely unsolicited, had never picked these up or even thought about picking them up. They just looked so ridiculous. And somebody sent them to me and was like, please give these a try. And oh my God, you were so right. You're so right. These are so freaking good. I've given all of the volumes 5 stars. This is supposed to be about Lloyd, that's him. And then we have Anya, and then we have, oh my God, I always feel like I pronounce her name right. It's either Yuri or it's Yuri. Anyway, and then Bond, the dog. So in each one of these, we're kind of getting more installments on backstories of these characters. So what it's about is Lloyd, who is a spy. Now, for this spy agency that he works for, he is tasked to put an end to basically like World War III with this big political figure on the other side of the fence. But the only time that this guy is ever seen in a public setting is at his kid's private school. So basically, the agency tells Lloyd that he needs to infiltrate the private school, and the only way he can do that is by getting married and having a kid. But he needs to do it pronto. So Lloyd goes out and finds Anya at an orphanage, and she's very intelligent, but she's very strange, and he adopts her. But little does he know, she had been experimented on at a previous orphanage, and she is a telepath now. And she can hear what Lloyd is thinking and knows he's a spy, but he doesn't know that she's a telepath, and she doesn't want to tell him because previous times that she's told people, they have like disowned her or thought she was crazy or whatever. And then Lloyd has to find a wife, and he runs into Yuri. Okay, Yuri, here's the thing. She also needs to find somebody to be with because she's an assassin and needs it to be like a cover for her missions and shit. So we have a spy, a telepath, and an assassin, all being a happy family, having no idea that the other one can do the things that they can do. And it's fucking hilarious. It's so funny. And I swear to God, Anya, I love her. I love her. It's so heartwarming. Literally, like, their relationship is so cute. Like, I die. I eat these books up. I read these at work, and literally every single time, there'll be like at least 5 people in that day that will come up to me and ask what I'm reading and say, that has got to be a good book. You have not stopped smiling the entire time you're reading it. And I explained it to them and they look at me like I'm crazy. And I'm like, I know, but they're so good. I have a question. Who gave Rachel Hawkins the right to call this and then there were none retelling? Complete false, complete misinformation, absolutely not facts, like total fiction. No, it's not. No, it's not. And here's the thing. Reckless Girls by Rachel Hawkins is a very fast ride. It's a very short book. It's bingeable. You can definitely read it in one day. I did. The audio is also incredibly fast. And while I was curious what was going to happen in the beginning, then it just kept going on and on and on. And I was like, nobody's dying. How is this an and then there were none retelling? It wasn't an and then there were none retelling. It was just finding out secrets about each character. But the secrets and plot twists were so lame. So lame. Like, Rachel Hawkins, like, how old are you? Like, how old is Rachel Hawkins? Actually, I need to know. You were too damn young to be writing this old lady shit. Like, I'm not even gonna tell you what it's about. It's not good. Don't read it. And then I listened to the audio for The Burning Girls by CJ Tudor, and I really enjoyed this ride. This is a book I can definitely see myself rereading in the future. I gave it 4 stars, but I definitely, like, even though I think I would give it 4 stars upon reread, I would want to relive this book, even though, like, I know the plot twist. I want to read it again to catch all the little things that led up to that, because I really thought this was good. It is a good book. Like, it's not a favorite. It's not a fantastic book, but it's a good book. This priest, I guess, is that what it's called? A priest? God, I can't believe I can't remember. Anyway, it's this woman who's a priest or whatever they're called. I sound so ignorant right now. Okay, it's a woman who works for the church. And something happened where she got too involved with a situation and she got kicked out of her parish and she had to go somewhere else. And when she went there, there's a lot of weird shit that's going on. And the previous priest killed themselves and she's like, what? And then there's all this weird shit going on and there are these burning girls. And it's basically where the town puts these like little voodoo dolls up around everywhere, like because there was these 2 girls who were burned to death when it was basically this big religion thing where it was like the Protestants and all that, where they came in and were like killing the Catholics and the Catholics were killing the Protestants and this whole thing, and they were killed for their religion. And then the town like kind of over dramatizes and worships this like crazy folklore of them, and that plays into like this kind of crazy shit of this like priest killing themselves and like what's going on, like what's happening. And he had secrets, but then the main character also has secrets. Like her past is kind of coming back to come in, and then they're also following this like crazy dude that just got out of jail. Or no, I think he escaped from jail. He either got out or he just escaped, and he's kind of wrapped up in the story too. Did you understand that summary? Because I read the book and I don't understand what I'm saying. The ending was insane. I liked it. So for the book that my patrons voted on for me to do a reading vlog for the month of February was Verity by Colleen Hoover. And when I tell you, a landslide voting on this, a landslide. It was like 98% of the vote out of 4. And then also when I just left it open for people to suggest books, I swear there was like 50 comments saying Verity. And I'm like, why? Like, what is it? And then Gabby messaged me and was like, oh my God, you have to read that book. I was like, okay. And none of them said that I was going to love it. They just said they wanted to know what I was going to think, like what I would say. And oh my God, go watch that reading vlog. Go watch it. This book, 5 stars, 5 stars. What a fucking ride. Oh my God, I will definitely read this again in the future. I physically read it and I highlighted and wrote all over this fucking thing. Like, I'm obsessed. Let me just read you the first line because the fuck. I hear the crack of his skull before the spattering of blood reaches me. Good Lord. Like, I thought this was a romance when I went into it. It's not. There is a romance, but it's not a romance. It's about this girl. What's her first name? It's something weird. Lowen. Her first name's Lowen. You already know that. She is a author, but she's not doing so well. And she goes to her publisher and there's a meeting where this guy is like, I want you to ghostwrite my wife's books because she is in a coma and his wife's writing is insanely popular. Like, think like Game of Thrones, like insanely popular. But she's only written 5 books and the 6th and 7th one are already contracted, and that's like where his money comes from. So he wants Lowen to ghostwrite the books. Here's the thing though. So she's dead broke, okay? And he says, my wife doesn't have everything like on the computer. She has everything written down. You're gonna need to come to my house and go through it. And basically invites her to like live there for 2 weeks. and she can't say no because she just got kicked out of her apartment. But when she goes there, she finds a manuscript that Verity, who's the wife, wrote like about her life. And when I tell you that there are plot twists, when I tell you this book is actually scary, it's scary. There were moments where it would be like, oh, like imagine the kind of scary where someone's sleeping and then the character looks over and their eyes are just staring at them. And I was like, ah!
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
That terrified me. This book, I said that scared me. Okay, it's so good. And if you're wondering if I'm team letter or team manuscript, I'm team manuscript, and you literally cannot bring an argument to team letter that I will hear. It's team manuscript all the way. I freaking loved it. I read Finley Donovan is Killing It as a reread and followed that up with Finley Knocks Him Dead by El Casameno. So I read Is Killing It last year, gave it 5 stars, was one of my best books of the year. I absolutely adored it. But when I reread it, it didn't hit as hard and I gave it 4 stars. Still a really good book. Didn't hit as hard the second time around. Finley Donovan Knocks Him Dead. I gave this 3 stars. I gave this 3 stars. Okay. The biggest reason is because her husband, Steven, is grotesque and vile and disgusting. I hate him so much. I hate her husband or her ex-husband so fucking much. And the fact that she ever got with him, that she married him, that she had 2 kids with him, that she still considers him like a decent person, makes Finley an unreliable narrator. Like, it makes her stupid. Like, I'm like, you are actually dumb. He is disgusting. He treats her horribly. And then he had cheated on her. He gets married to the person he cheated on her with. And then he's cheating on his new wife. Like, it's just disgusting. It's so gross. And the fact that she's like still kind of enamored with him, I'm like, Finley, you're dumb. You're stupid. And then also the Vero storyline in this, I felt like was unnecessary and just was trying to make her problematic because she's such a good character. And I was like, she could have just stayed badass. Like, I didn't need this thing going on. I'm hoping that like I can reread these in the future and give them 5 stars. But as of right now, they're not as good as I thought they were last year. And for my most anticipated book of 2022, we have Where the Drowned Girls Go by Shauna McGuire. This is, sorry, my insulin pump just went off. Don't mind me. Just have diabetes. This is set, well, this is not set in Eleanor's Home for Wayward Children, which is very strange. Most of them are. This is a portal fantasy about how kids will find these doors to their perfect like fantasy world, but the worlds are super messed up, but for whatever reason, they can finally feel at home and they can feel understood and related to for whatever reason they have. It is so beautiful. It's so beautiful. I'm just so obsessed. It's so heartwarming. I love these characters so much. And this is following Cora, who is a drowned girl. And she had gone to Eleanor West's home and she feels like she's not getting what she wants because what she wants is to completely forget that all of this happened and reacclimate into society. And she doesn't feel like she's able to do that at Eleanor West's Home for Wayward Children. So she goes to the Hawthorne, right? It doesn't even say. I'm pretty sure it's the Hawthorne Legacy is what it's called. Anyway, it's another school that is run much more like military diligently, and their goal is to brainwash you into thinking that you were wrong about going through the door and that it never happened and that you're just part of regular society and all this stuff is make-believe. So she goes to that school. Lo and behold, it isn't a fun time. It's not great. And Sumi and Cade and all of them are trying to save her and bring her back to Eleanor West's. I really enjoyed this. I really liked it. I gave it 4.5 stars. Maybe it is a 4-star and I just want to give it 4.5 stars because I love this series and the 6th book was so terrible, but I really liked this. I really loved Cora's story. I just really like her as a character, and Sumi is in this, and Sumi is my favorite character in the series. I really wish we could see Nancy again. I mean, she gets talked about, but like, I want Nancy to come back. Nancy was dope. But I love Sumi and she's a big part of this book. So this one was really good. And if you were considering picking up the 7th book and you weren't sure after the 6th book, I would definitely suggest it. And then I listened to One by One by Ruth Ware, and I am so shocked, but so happy to tell you that I really enjoyed this book. I did not think I would because it was not getting very good ratings. I thought that it was getting bad ratings, and then when I went on Goodreads, I actually saw really good ratings from the people that I follow and subscribe to. So that was really a delight because I went through the whole book thinking like, is this gonna have a bad ending? And it didn't. I really liked it. I think I'm gonna give it I had thought maybe I would give it 3.5 stars because it's not really like a great book, but it's such a good time. It needs to be a 4-star. This book is so much fun. It's so fast paced. It is, and then there were none retelling. So this is about this company called Snoop, who basically, it's in connection with like Spotify, where if you're on it, like imagine this. So you're on Snoop and Lady Gaga's on Snoop and she's playing music. You can go on your Snoop and click on her and listen to what she's listening to in that moment. So it's kind of like making people feel connected to like celebrities and their loved ones, family, like if you're in a long distance relationship, stuff like that. So that company does that. And it's that company going on a retreat to this like skiing lodge. And when they get there, there's like this big blizzard that locks them all like into the facility and people start dying. People start getting picked off one by one. And you're like, what's going on? What's happening? And these characters are like not likable. I mean, they are like, well, some of them are likable. Some of them you're like, ew, but it's just so dramatic. It's so dramatic. It's so much fun. I just freaking loved it. I thought it was good. And I would suggest it. The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman. This is about this retirement home where every Thursday they get together and try to solve like cold cases because they have a different skill set for each person. And they're very intelligent. They're very fun. They have a lot of really good banter. But then someone ends up finding a body on the premises and the person who finds it doesn't want to go to the police. So asks this Thursday Murder Club to help him solve it. And it's a lot of fun. It isn't as good as I was hoping it would be. I didn't really like the way that they depicted like the elderly. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I didn't super love how he did that. But it is a good series. I'm definitely planning on picking up the second one. I gave this one 4 stars. Honestly, it's more of a 3.5, but it is a good book. It just didn't meet my expectations. A Man Called Ove by Frederick Bachman. Or Ove. I thought it was Ove, like A Man Called Ove. Ove. It's Ove. It sounds stupid. I'm saying that because I hated this book. I hated it. This is 1 star, and I don't understand what y'all are talking about. What are you talking about? Why do you like this book? I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. What are you talking about? This man is a piece of shit. He's trash. Why are y'all all simping over this old man who is fatphobic, homophobic, transphobic? He's a misogynist. He is disgusting. He's disgusting. He knows, he's been told so many times in his life that he's too aggressive, he's too judgmental, he's mean, he comes across harsh, and he doesn't care. And there was someone that told me that they read this like he was autistic and that made them like his character because it made sense of a lot of things. But here's the thing, that is never alluded to. It is never alluded to anyone saying that maybe he has a problem. No one saying like, oh, well, other people don't do that. It's just him in his head thinking that everything he's doing is totally fine. And he has a neighbor that is overweight and he's constantly talking about how he should eat less or like he should walk more or like this, that. It's so gross. And like he uses like slur words for a gay barista and other people are telling him like it's not okay to say that. And he keeps saying it anyway. I don't understand. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't get it. And it's supposed to be like this old guy, or not old guy. Okay, here's the thing. It would make sense if he was old. He's 50, he's like 59. That's not old enough to act like this. It's not old enough. It isn't. Not even close. Like 89, I maybe would buy it. Maybe. 59? You fucking know better. You did not grow up in a time where this was okay. Anyway, it's about him and his wife has passed away. His wife who was like the light of his life, the sunshine in his universe. And his wife is very nice. But it doesn't make any sense why she married him. Literally, multiple times, her friends and family tell her, like in the flashbacks, not to marry him. And she does it anyway. And she cannot explain why she loves him. I'm like, yeah, I don't see it either, sis. I don't see it either. And like, he's so horrible. And she's just like, oh, well, sweetie, blah, 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 blah. And the thing is, all the characters in the book do that to him. All the characters are like, I know you have a heart in there. It's like Scrooge. It's literally Ebenezer Scrooge. But he doesn't give anything to warrant that kindness. He's an asshole. And then when his wife dies, he's depressed, but he's just a depressed asshole. It's not like he became an asshole after his wife died. There's flashbacks of him when he's a teenager being a dick. I'm being really rude. I didn't like this book and I gave it 1 star. And then I started binging the Morrigan Crow trilogy. I read Nevermore and Wondersmith, both by Jessica Townsend. These are chunky middle grades. Chunky, good God. They're like 500 and something pages. It's absolutely insane. These are fantasy and they're middle grade and they're very cute, very cute. It's supposed to be about this girl who was born on Eventide, and any person that was born on Eventide is known to be bad luck. And she is blamed for everything that goes wrong in this town, everything. And it's all leading up to her 12th birthday or 11th birthday. One of those. And it's supposed to be on that day, she's going to be sacrificed. And that's what everything is leading up to. But then when it comes to it, she had entered to go into this like magical competition kind of as a lark, like never thinking that anyone would pick her because she's an Eventide kid. And someone shows up on her birthday when she's about to die and is like, oh, you're coming on with me. Like, buckle up, sis, we're going. And she's like, the fuck? And the family's like, you can't do that. And she's like, I don't want to die, so I'ma go. Let's do this. And then she, like in the Nevermore, she goes through this like magical tournament and it's very good. Like, listen, I'm talking myself out of my original opinion because my original opinion was that these are really good, but I didn't care that much because I'm not a middle grade person and I'm just like not necessarily in the mood for these. But now that I'm talking about what they're about, I'm like, they are really good. They are really good. I was considering unhauling these and Hollowpox because I was like, I don't think that I'm gonna read them again. But now I'm like, I think I will reread these. Okay, now I don't know. Do you think that if I felt like, oh yeah, these are good while I was reading them, do you think that if I reread them, I'd be like, oh yeah, now I'm obsessed? Because if you do, then I'll reread them in the future. If you don't, and you think I'm not gonna become more interested, then I'll pass them along to someone who will love them. Please let me know because I honestly, like, I don't know what to do. Oh my gosh, that's gonna wrap it up for all of these February books. You'd think this is the shortest month of the year and I would have read less books, but no. Okay, thank you so much for joining this video. If you want to join my Patreon, the link is going to be down below. We do an epic shite ton of reading sprints, which is why I've read so many books. Like literally the amount of my patrons that have been like, wow, my reading has like doubled every month because of these sprints. I'm like, thank you, bitch, thank you. Also, if you want to follow me on Goodreads or Instagram, they're going to be linked down below, as well as a myriad of other links just to help support this channel. And all of that to say, I hope you're having an amazing day, evening, night, dusk, dawn, whatever it is you're having in whatever part of the world you're having it in. And I will see you in a video coming very soon. Bye.